absolutely loved about living in France that a lot of Americans hate when they first move there, but many of them, if they stay long enough, they eventually come to like it, is their ability to strike. They don't just strike and inconvenience a couple people. The government is like, you know what, we're gonna raise the retirement age by a couple years. And they're like, oh, we're gonna shut down the whole fucking country until you give us back our rights, okay? It's fabulous. And at first, I would get so anxious because of how American society is run and how dependent and how punished we are if we don't follow rules and follow through. So if I couldn't get to my job, for example, in France because the buses were on strike, I was panicking and I'd call my employer I don't know what to do, almost in tears, I'm so sorry, I'm doing my best. And they'd be like, I'm not coming to work either. There's a strike. How are we expected to get to work? We'll just call the parents and tell them don't bring your kids today. And I'd be like, what? It was fabulous after I got used to it. And I mean, kind of sometimes just felt like free vacation for me because I'd be like, well, can't go to work today. Can't walk 20 kilometers without the buses and I don't have a car. And this was before Uber when this was mostly happening. They're really quite understanding about strikes inconveniencing people, and you won't generally be punished because it's to be expected. The whole society is kind of set up for these workers to be able to strike for their rights, but it does inconvenience people and piss a lot of people off, enough to the point where the government kind of has to listen and they have to respond in some capacity to these strikes. And you know what? They're pretty good at getting workers' rights. Workers' rights in France are significantly superior to workers' rights in the United States and Canada. But guess how their economy is doing with all these strikes and all these workers' rights? Let's see how France's economy is doing. With a minimum of 5 weeks paid vacation for employees every single year and a retirement age of 62 currently, France is the 7th largest world economy, the 3rd largest in Europe, which, considering their population size and how many rights and privileges their workers have, it's incredible. Just to be clear, I don't think that we should judge a country entirely by their economy. An economy is not an indicator of a quality of life by any stretch of the imagination, but this American rhetoric of, oh my gosh, if we give people a week paid vacation guaranteed, the entire economy will just collapse. What will we do if employers aren't allowed to pay their employees starving wages anymore? It's just all bullshit. Because other countries, guess what? They're doing real good. And they have a higher quality of life and a lot more freedom than workers do in the United States of America.